as a creator and like an entrepreneur who's trying to run a business that's entirely
Yeah.
based out of this content, I know
Yeah.
for a person like you, you're just like person of high agency, right? Because you're somebody who just looks at an idea in the morning and you would want that implemented by the happy hour. How do you balance that kind of being very scrappy, being very
Yes.
execution oriented with
Yeah.
also that long term mindset? So what goes into that
Mm.
process, and like what are the things that constantly keep coming up in your mind to balance this?
Oof, such a good question. And honestly, a pretty ongoing struggle. I don't feel like I have this figured out. And part of the reason is that the landscape I'm creating in and
Mm-hmm.
myself as a comedian and my life is constantly changing. And so it's hard to create a rhythm that feels repeatable and sustainable when all of these things are changing around me, when the sands underneath my feet are constantly shifting. And I think that's part of the process of that has been just accepting that it might not feel like I have it together, but we just have to keep on putting one foot in front of the other. Like some days I'm just like, oh my God. And I just have to keep going. What are you gonna do? Stop? No. I mean, you might want to pause, look around,
Yeah.
take inventory, say, what can I let go of? I'm notoriously bad at that. Notoriously bad at that, truthfully.
Mm,
When I think about and I think, the way I'm interpreting your question is about, like, prioritizing short term and long term. Do I have that right?
exactly. I know we
Yeah.
keep using a lot of product terms, but like I said,
No, I
product and
get it.
comedy go hand in hand. So
I think
it's
there's a
it's
lot of
great.
similarities. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
think, it is I really don't think that far in advance. I do not have a 5-year plan, for example. I
Mm,
have a sense for what I wanna do, tactically in the next, let's say the next, like, 6 to 8 months. I have, like, a sense for the types of things, the types of larger long-term projects that I wanna put work into. And the real challenge for me is exactly what we're talking about, which is how do I decide in the morning to work on a video that'll go out in 5 days? Or
mm-hmm.
do I work on a project that might not see the light of day for 6 more months? And the only way that I have found in recent times, in the last 3 months or so, to help me with this is I have a new way of blocking my time during the day, which is
Oh,
that I force myself, truly force myself, like you should see me sit down and just rage against my computer. I force myself to not work on anything other than creative projects until 1 p.m. So I don't check
mm,
my email. I try not to think about the podcast, think about invoices and business. I really, until 1 p.m., I'm like, if you're going to work, which I obviously have to do every day, I am going to work on creative stuff. And the reason that that's been helpful is that I will work on a video and then I'll be like, well, I did the video, so that's done. Um, and it is 11:30. So, and then I'm like, all right, well, I guess I have to work on other stuff. And so forcing myself to have that time is one of the only ways I have found
mm.
recently to be putting time into projects that again might not be have that satisfying conclusion for several months. So forcing myself via having time on the calendar is the answer.
Wow. Yeah. I think to me, it sounds more like trying to stack rank your list of priorities,
Mm,
like trying to go and say, okay, if this hour is going to be for writing my script, I don't want
yeah.
anything else to creep into that. I just want it for like free flowing creative work. And
Yes.
let me like put that up on the stack and like keep rearranging all these blocks until like you
Yeah.
have a perfectly lined calendar. So
I
yes.
wish my calendar was perfect. It's so hard. I really don't think I'm good at this. Like, honestly, I think sometimes I'm like, it is a miracle that I'm getting any of these things done because every day I'm like, there's so much I want to do. There's not just stuff I have to do, but it's like there's stuff I get to do. That's another reframe I've been using recently, which is instead of, oh my God, there's so much I have to do. I try to tell myself when it's particularly cool stuff, I'm like, there's so much I get
Hmm.
to do.
Yeah,
That
that's a
is a
cool trick.
huge mindset shift. Yes, because then I'm like, that's right. You work for yourself. You're making stuff you like. You get to have these incredibly interesting, insightful conversations with brilliant people.
Yeah,
Enjoy it. You get to
absolutely.
do this. You can freak
Yeah.
out later.